I see my name in shining lights, yeah, a different city every night. Oh, I swear the world better prepare for when I'm a billionaire.
It's time to get down to business on the weekend's #1 business program. Known as the King of Networking, your host, Shalom Klein, has worked with thousands of entrepreneurs and created countless jobs. So, to success. Let's get down to business.
And indeed, we are all about small business jobs and entrepreneurship in business. We talk a lot about business here on with Get Down to Business. And I'm your host, Shalom Klein. Remember, you can always download podcasts from Get Down to Business on my website at shalomklein.com. And while you're there, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Shalom Klein. It's going to be a jam-packed week of content and information you will not want to miss. So let's jump right in with an amazing, outstanding entrepreneur. I'll save the titles because we're going to talk to the one and only Craig Handley. And he's going to share with us maybe the beginning of the secret to building and living your dreams that you probably don't know. I've been reading up on Craig for the past while, and I am inspired by his story, his drive and motivation. So without further ado, Craig Handley, welcome to the program.
Hey, how are you? Good to be here.
I'm wonderful. It's great to have you. There are so many titles that can be put on you, Craig. And we were introduced by a very good friend of mine, Justin Breen, great friend of the program. And I've been spending time looking at your website, checking out a lot of your music, and I'm inspired. So I love to always start by getting to know the person behind the microphone. Craig, can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I mean, I think all my life I've wanted to be a musician. I think from high school. But I didn't have the money to do it, so ended up joining the military to try to get money for college, which it was $750 a month or so, but it was good, but it wasn't quite enough to do the dreams that I wanted to accomplish. So I ended up being an entrepreneur. Throughout the years, I built a lot of different things that got lucky and had some success here and there. And I think, and I'm trying to give you the 50-foot version, not going so high up that people can't keep up, but over the years, I really wanted to inspire others to live their dreams. So I built a program. I own a call center in Mexico called Listen Trust with about 1,000 people. And I started hiring them. And then the first thing I would do is train them to quit and go after their dreams, which inspired a best-selling book called Hired to Quit, Inspired to Stay, which made bestseller in 5 categories. And really, immediately after that, my employees did an intervention. So today, they forced me to quit. They were like, you need to go live your dreams. So I started writing music, and today I have songs with some very major artists, songs that are going to be coming out in movies. I pursued my dream of acting. I was just in a movie with Cuba Gooding Jr. In January that'll come out in November. Of course, author, entrepreneur. I do have a lot of titles, but I think the one I'm most proud of is I just love being creative, and using my brain that I've been gifted in many different creative ways to create opportunities for others, which in turn create opportunities for me.
Wild. So like I said, lots of titles can be put on Craig Handley, including veteran, including entrepreneur and songwriter. Let's talk about the songwriter piece for a moment, because I was just reading a little bit online that you still spend time writing a lot of music on a regular basis. Can you tell us a little bit about the behind the scenes of what you're sort of working on right now?
Yeah, well, so I kind of broke it apart so my goal, I'm going to win many Grammys. I will. And my goal, of course, to do that, I had to have a plan. So the first plan was to show off a library of music. So I write 3 songs every week, and I'm a big fan of mentors, and I think probably most of your listeners have mentors or masterminds they're part of. And so I immediately hired songwriters that have had better accolades than I have, and I started really learning from people who are better than me. I also went back and put the time in, right? 10,000 hours. So from my infomercial days and from my days of marketing, I was pretty good with hooks. I knew how to write a catchy hook. My verses, though, I didn't really have any science behind it. And I think in business, one thing everybody realizes and everybody learns as they mature in business is that having a repeatable process, is one of the secrets to business success. So I went and studied every hit song from 60 or so on that was up for Song of the Year, Grammy nominated Song of the Year. And I started to write my own rule book as to what creates a hit song. And I learned that in the past, you had a certain amount of time to catch their attention. Well, today, it's 6 to 8 seconds. And so you have to think in 6 to 8 second increments as you're writing music. And what do you have to do within those 6 to 8 seconds? Well, you have to write a song that has all of the push and pull in the production, all of the tension and release in the writing. But there are 5 components that I realize belong in every song. And one is catch their attention within 8 seconds. Number 2 is put a little stupid in every song. What I mean by that is you got to have the oohs or the ahs or just something that doesn't make sense. You know, like Adele does the go easy on me, baby. You know, it's that type of stupid, you know, that I'm talking about. And then when you write your music, you have to write it conversational. But in order to think in 8 second increments, you have to think as a snapshot of the brain and understand that the psychology that you put into copywriting and other things is the same psychology that goes into writing a hit song. So you have to write every 4 to 8 verses need contrast, meaning I was feeling down, so I got high. Down, up, right? Cold, hot. Just you have to have contrast in every 4 to 8 bars, and that was in almost 90% of the hit songs that were nominated. Also, emotional visuals. You can't just be wearing pants. You have to be wearing green corduroys or white painter pants. So your brain has to not only write in a conversational prose, but within that conversation to connect the psychology that the brain needs, the up, down, the contrast, and then the emotional visuals to get the snapshots. You have to be able to not only write in a conversational manner, but to put those pieces and elements within the song. If you can do that, you can write a hit song. And so all I did was basically write a rule book and then started applying it. And all of a sudden I'm meeting with some of the biggest artists in the world. Now, I know I want to let you talk here in a minute, but I've combined that with my marketing brain. So what I did was I said, well, now that I've got great music, only 5% of new music breaks. Why is that? Am I going to work with independent artists, or am I only going to try to work with Ed Sheeran and Taylor Swift, which they write their own music for the most part, but those are pretty high names to get into and break into. So what I did was I then used my marketing prowess and built something called Song Launch. And Song Launch allows me to do for about 100,000 what a record label might do for $1 million. And so I've built Song Launch that I'm now testing. I became partners with Charlie Walk, who's the former CEO of Republic Records, who I rebuilt his music mastery program with him. So we're now helping other artists go through artist development through music mastery. And I've dumped myself into the NFT marketplace because if you can combine music and art, by all means. I've got a video game company I'm working with that wants to launch about 50 artists within their video game as an Easter egg, where you find something that creates an action and then a painting opens up and the music, the creation of the art becomes a music video. And as a gamer, you would win the art as an NFT along with some royalties from the record. And we're working with everybody from The Weeknd down to unknowns. So I'm doing a lot. I'm excited.
You sure are. You sure are. You're doing a lot. I'm inspired by, again, the music and really where you combined music and entrepreneurship. And I want to spend the last minute talking about marketing for a moment, because as you mentioned, you are the co-founder of Listen Trust and Listen Up Espanol, which was named number one in business products and service. And social close. I was about to get there. And you know, so you are certainly the marketing guru. So we'll have another conversation where we'll dive deeper into those businesses. But if folks remember nothing else from this conversation, what is the number one bit of advice that you have for an aspiring entrepreneur tuning into the program?
This is my number one advice. Treat people as if they're already multimillionaires and billionaires. Believe in their dream and support them unconditionally. At Social Close, we do an audit for free. And I have a strategy that I'll build for them that I used to spend a full day, consulting and then creating this strategy, which I would charge $10,000 for. Today, I give it away. My whole goal in Social Close is to help others grow and succeed in business. What I found is that when I do these strategies for people, 30 to 40% of them will hire my team to execute. The other 60% just become friends. And that is enough. when you create relationships in the world, karma comes back and helps you out tenfold. So my number one advice to others is help others and stop thinking about what's in it for me. Because if you just make friends and create relationships, they will help you in your journey. I've never expected a business person that I helped who didn't hire me to refer me to, a famous artist. You never know what's coming back on the other end if you're the right type of person. So that's my number one advice.
That's awesome. Well, I could spend days talking to you, Craig Handley, but how can we get in touch with you and your team?
I'm pretty easy to find. I'm Craig Handley on all of socials. So I've stole those before the other Craig Handleys. And then I'm just Craig at Social Close is an easy email. And I even think my cell phone number is published online. So no big deal.
Well, Craig Handley, thanks so much for sharing your passion and expertise. We've got to squeeze in a quick break here on the show, all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. We'll be right back.